Welcome to the second part of my power consumption test for my Waeco and Engel fridges. This is basically the summer edition. A few years ago I actually made a video when I did all these same tests and recordings, but it was done in winter. So I reran the test exactly the same to see what the result is in summer. I will put a link up in the corner to that previous video. In there I'll just go through the methodology and the setup of how I do the test, and obviously that'll give you the full results for the winter test. So this is the summer test, and as I said, setup is exactly the same between the two. So basically, as a quick overview, I did a -2 degree test, a +3 degree test, and then a -18 freezer mode test. So the first test I did was the -2. We can see that, and this is over a 24-hour period. So we can see the Engel on average used about 27.67 amps, and the Waeco used 22.16 amps. So the Waeco used 20% less power compared to the Engel. Now, as far as previous for the winter, the Waeco used less as well, but last time it used 40% less. So they're a lot closer in this test than they were in the winter test. Now we have the +3 degree test. So basically the Engel used 19.87, the Waeco used 14.39. So the Waeco used 28% less power compared to the Engel, and in the winter test it used 34% less, still the Waeco's way. So slightly less margin in it this time. And then we have the -18 test. Engel used 54.46 amps and the Waeco used 55.65. So this is the first time in all my testing that I've actually seen my Engel fridge use less than the Waeco, and it was a 2% difference. But that's a pretty big change considering the Waeco used 40% less power in the winter test. So that's pretty good. So it seems that either the insulation isn't quite as good in the Waeco, hence why in the hotter temperatures it basically didn't perform as well, say, compared to the Engel. Now, as far as temperatures, it hasn't been a ridiculously hot summer here, averaging probably 20 degrees overnight and anywhere from 26 to 30 during the day. So this is still substantially cooler than it was certainly last year, and than what it's going to be mounted in your vehicle parked in the sun. Now here's a quick rundown of the differences all on one sheet between the winter and summer. So this will be up on the screen for a while. You can pause it if you want to go through the details. But basically, as you can see, the difference between on the -2 degrees, in summer, the Engel used an extra 10.7 amps and the Waeco used 12.09 amps more power for the same 24-hour test period in summer than what it did in winter. Same thing on the +3, we can see the Engel used 9.92 amps while the Waeco used 7.87 more amps in summer compared to what it did in the same test in winter. And the -18 test. Surprisingly, the Engel only used 14.5 amps more in summer than it did in winter, where the Waeco used 27.8 amps. That's a massive amount of extra power it had to use in the warmer temperature. Basically up 100%, used 100% more power compared to the winter test for the Waeco. So that's basically the results. Like I said, I would have liked it to have been a lot hotter to do the tests, but I can only work with the temperatures I've got this year. I hope you find it useful, and I hope, I'll be interested if you guys have got any results of your own, any testing. Like I said, these are old fridges. I've had them for probably 12, 13 years. Definitely wouldn't mind other people's input or their experiences to see how mine sit as far as age and condition. Alright guys, thanks for watching.